Socratic design is a methodology and a theory, and it is a practice. It's all in one, and that's what it's so attractive because it has a full life experience feeling in it. It's an why do we need this Socratic design? That's always the key question, of course. We need it because we have difficulty of real thinking. That's the first thing. While we don't know that we have difficulties in good thinking. Secondly, we have wrong images of ourselves due to historically, philosophically understandable developments. We human beings are seeing ourselves in completely wrong ways, but which leads to completely wrong practices, which again boosts and forces us to sustain in this wrong way of thinking. Thirdly, we are completely locked up in industrial concepts, in language, in feelings, in actions, and in our surroundings, of course, buildings, but also infrastructure, traffic, and so on and so on. Fourthly, we cannot connect well between one and another, and now even worse than ever, thanks to our on-screen lives, but we don't know how to organize collaborative intelligence. A very important aspect of our why we need Socratic design is that we go on solving problems, and by solving problems we prolongate the origins of the problem. The point is we have to start from scratch again. It's just as simple as Thomas Kuhn, the famous philosopher, told us about changing new scientific theories. You don't go on with the old one, you start a new one. And a new theory always incorporates an action, a program, a community. This is what a Socratic design is all about. It's trying to make concrete knowledge. And here is the key point I want to focus on, because concrete knowledge is very hard to grasp. That's why we have the name Socrates here, because he was the first to stress that real knowledge is always related to the human experience of persons, or one person to start with. The famous question, what should I do, of Socrates to the world wonder of the Oracle of Delphi was, if you want to know, start getting to know yourself and you will know the whole universe. So, in the Socratic elements of this Socratic design, it is paramount to give back all the force, all the gravitational energy back to the interpersonal event. So we have to quit off all our abstractism. And abstractism, well, it's all around you. You mostly are part of an abstract system of your government, of your computer, of your Facebook, of your internet, but also your science is abstract, but also your the way you see yourself is mostly abstract. You will say, I'm part of this or that or that, and when you want to have a solution, you will look it up in abstract theories. Abstractism is one of the main fallacies of our, you could say, modern society. And it was the philosopher John Dewey who really has analyzed it profoundly and tried to restore our connection with concrete human interpersonal experience, there where he meets Socrates. This is a very hard assignment, but the nice thing is that at least we understand why we have such a big mess, because we are designing in the wrong way, in the wrong corner, with the wrong mentality, with the wrong intelligence. To do it well, we don't have to solve our old problems, because if we solve them, we keep on going in the same direction, in the same corner, in the same method. We have to create, like artists, we have to create knowledge. We don't need to transfer knowledge. And create knowledge is completely something different. And you can see it when you, before your child goes to secondary education, it is capable of creating knowledge, creating names for objects. And you will correct them because it had to adapt. But you see the competence of young capacities of young kids to create knowledge. We as adults have to go back to this concrete event of creating knowledge. In order to do so, we have to think differently. That means into, you could say, heavenly moderated dialogues, which are not just group talking, and you can say the force to listen, the art of listening to one another. If we exercise this, and this is a very, you could say, successful practice, not easy to reach, because mostly we are used to just listening to our own thoughts, even when we are communicating with somebody else. To do this well doesn't need a training of 5 years, whatever, it's a few days, but it is really harsh and it is really interfering into your normal day-to-day practices. When we have realized a community of real listening, real thinking and collaborative intelligence, we can use all the oceans of thoughts and ideas and suggestions which are available in art and philosophy, not in science. It's art and philosophy, culture, where the fountains of our future designs are present. And they are not present in museums, but they are also present in brains and minds and bodies and feelings of and hearts of children and common citizens. If you have a group of 30 people, then a lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts, a lot of intuitions are referring to this 1,000 and 1,000-year-old traditions of art and philosophy. So that's why the creation process is so paramount in this. We will have to convince the participants to leave behind their abstractism, to leave behind their cogito ergo sum, to leave behind their selfish proud, that they can invent things from their brain. We can only make personal practices when we interact, and when we interact in our thinking. The most important thing is that we have to design from zero again, but it's not really zero, because we have a huge amount of human tradition, successful human tradition, not all successful, but we can trace, we can identify which is strong and which is weak. This is what we need to do, and to leave behind relativistic, you could say relativistic, ethical, utilitarian approaches. We can go back to Aristotle or even go back to Socrates to establish together what is right, what is justice, what is a good life. So at the end of the day, the whole Socratic design is again the attempt of humanity, but not as an abstraction, the attempt of concrete human beings to give form to the good life. And we do that every day and every moment again. So the point is, we leave behind abstract thinking, which is economy, which is basically the market of shares, which is basically government, which is all abstract and which all projects our lives into the future. But this projection into the future is an abstraction which we never experience, because we live every day. So the point is, believe in your day, create a good day and do it with all the new intelligence we have. And here we come in with our technology. But, here is the but, we don't see technology as such as the solution. We say technology is under the command of our personal, ethical, artistic, philosophical, Socratic intelligence. And then we're gonna say, okay, we're gonna build this with this technology, which basically also more and more is mimetizing concrete biological creatures, biological events. Finally, for the moment, conclude, Socratic design is going back to our human roots, having the best creations, incorporate in our new creations of good human lives, incorporating normal human beings in concrete dialogues and concrete artistic designs made by us.